So my trafficking experience began before I can remember. I always say that my history didn't begin with trafficking, it was interrupted by trafficking. So, life for me growing up, a lot of it is hazy, and there's a lot of things that I don't fully remember. What I do remember from growing up is that things were chaotic. Before the age of 3, I know that I was with my mom and my dad, my biological parents, and we lived in San Francisco. One day, mom left with me. I guess we traveled through California and stayed with random people. And what I've learned now is that at the age of 3, my mom and her dad took place in what I've started to call a gray market adoption and sold me to some Spanish people. I can remember instances of extreme abuse and exploitation and, almost like a carousel ride of people in and out of the house. Even despite that, I remember telling the woman that I thought was my mom that, hey, this is happening. They're coming into my room at night. And her response was, well, I'll talk to him about it. And that was it. And there was never any conversation that I could see. And if there was, the only evidence of it was that, there was a beating not far behind it. And so that was the bulk of my childhood. These patterns just continued to exist and just kind of propel me further into a life of trafficking. And before I knew it, I was being transported across state lines to participate in the pornography industry, in the escort business, in traveling sales crews. So at no point in my life do I have a memory of trafficking or exploitation not existing. In that lifestyle, I was arrested a number of times for theft, for, a number of other things that I don't have clear memories of, and later found out they were on my record. When I tried leaving the life and removing myself from exploitation, that came with its own hardships. Trying to navigate finding work without things popping up when doing a background check so that I could try to provide some sort of stability for me and my kid as a single mom. My stepmother-in-law, she only knew like little things about me, but we all just thought I was Spanish. And at the time, everybody knew me as Missy. Like my legal name was Melissa Campos. So she says, let's find out what your actual nationality is. She's like, I'm gonna buy you that 23andMe kit. And I said, okay. I took the test, I get the results back, and I just about lost it. It came back and it said that I was 0.0000% Latin for every single country in the book. So my entire belief that I was Hispanic was no longer real. But there was one comment that came through, and it was of a woman who said, I really feel like I'm supposed to help you. Never in a million years could you have told me that she was going to call me one day and say, hey, I found you. Your name isn't your name. Your name is actually Khalila Marissa Bass. Also, by the way, you were illegally adopted. she's calling me, freaking out. She said, "Your family, I found them." And I was like, "What? I don't understand what you're talking about." She said, "I found your family. They've been looking for you for 37 years. You've been missing." All of a sudden, I had aunts and siblings and all anxious and ready to talk to me. And I think for the full next week, I don't think I went to bed before 4 a.m. because I was on the phone with family, and people that look like me. In 2020 is when I learned that my name wasn't my name. And so I had made a clear decision that I was taking my name back. I was taking my identity back. That was, robbed of me. So I got connected to Miriam, who is the founder of Empty Frames Initiative. I had shared with her about my name, and I had shared with her about just my circumstances.
Empty Frames Initiative is a nonprofit dedicated to empowering orphan and vulnerable youth as they transition out of state care systems. I met Khalila in the fall of 2022. She answered a national call we put out for authors. We were working on our project called The Story of Foster Care Volume 2, and she came in as a survivor, but also as a program manager, somebody who had done direct services, somebody who had helped other organizations develop their trauma-informed protocols, and we got to develop a real friendship. She mentioned that her legal name, her given name, had been changed over the course of her trafficking experience. And she wanted to change that, but she wanted somebody to recognize that it was as a result of her trafficking, and she wanted people to help her resolve it in a way that reflected that experience. She wanted it to be getting her name back. So that was why I referred her to the Joseph Project. I'd heard what they had done for other people. Their vision of legal collateral damage was a lot more broad than other organizations, and I thought there was a really good chance that they would want to help her with this.
Getting my name back was the first thing to get resolved, and that was beyond emotional. To actually have documentation, my own documents that say my actual name on it. Today, I have received in the mail, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be my new ID. I'm so excited. For 40 years, I have had to live with this other name that was not my name, and my birth name is officially restored back. Do you guys see that? Look at that. It's my name. It really just feels like coming home. Getting my charges vacated was a little bit more complex to get through. The person that helped me in getting my records vacated and sealed was Ellie Rouhani, and she is in Las Vegas, Nevada, and she immediately went to town filing all of the motions and the petitions and all of the things. And within a very short period of time, she sent me a letter letting me know that everything was done.
It is hereby ordered that the records of the following convictions and cases be sealed. It is further ordered that if any of the petitioner's civil rights have been revoked, that the petitioner is immediately restored to all of the following civil rights. All proceedings recounted in the sealed records are deemed to never have occurred.
Nobody woke up at 5 or 10 years old and said, "I think I'd like to go get trafficked today. I think I'd like to get abused. I think I'd like to be a criminal." And whatever dreams or hopes we had as youth or before the trafficking happened have been extinguished, and we can't rekindle those without our records being sealed and vacated. And that is critical for us. I ran from God from the time I was 11 until I was 32. I wanted nothing to do with God because I blamed him for my circumstance and for what had happened to me because I didn't understand the nature and the true character of God. And so God is so gracious that He's had his hand on me the entire time, and he's put people in my path to help me get to restoration, to help me get past these barriers and these hindrances. When I allow God to take the reins and to take control, and when I stop trying to do everything in my own way, beautiful things happen. I get relationships like what I have with Miriam and Empty Frames. I get relationships like what I have with the Joseph Project. I have the opportunity to dream again about what my life can look like. I get a choice in what everything looks like. The fact that I can choose now and that I'm not hindered by anything is proof that He's faithful.